It's been a crazy day in Nintendo Land as a whole lot of info leaked from Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and we are here to discuss today's events and give our take on this bold new game. What's up, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. I've got Jake and Gabe here. We've seen the slides. We've seen the key art. We now know how cute / creepy Peach as a rabbit looks. But now it's time to discuss this whole adventure.
Take off the cute part, and that's a little more accurate. Who thinks that the Peach Rabbit is cute?
Hey, listen, if you have a thing for thumbs, she kind of looks like a cute thumb. Little thummy.
If you have a cute thumb, let us know in the comments.
Hashtag cute thumb. Anyhow, I just want first you guys' quick take on this game and today's sort of blowout of information.
I like it. I like it a lot, which is surprising because I think out of the three of us, I'm like the most quote-unquote hardcore. Like, I think that's a mantle I can take. But no, I'm super into it. And I think like the charm is really, really on point. The selfie Peach taking thing, the overgrown, not overgrown, the long shirt on the Rabbid Luigi. Like, it's all just charming, and it seems like it has...
Don't grow your shirts too long.
It seems like it has a good sense of humor. And I don't know what else I expected. This seems like pretty like cookie cutter as far as like what a Mario Rabbids game would be. Like, I don't know what else I expected, but I dig it. I like the weaponry looks cool. I'm totally on board.
I still don't like rabbits. I hate the way that they look, like just form factor. I just don't like them at all. But I was very skeptical of the futuristic when we heard that there was like laser cannons and stuff. But the weapon design is looking pretty cool. Like, we have like a bullet bill arm cannon. We have like a banana gun that may lead into there being DK characters in the game. Luigi's got his poltergeist as like a sniper rifle. We got the Bowser Jr. Bandana on like the face on the bandana on a laser cannon. So like that stuff is really cool, and that whole futuristic sort of weird RPG weaponry thing is very exciting to me, especially because there's screenshots on here of like a customization screen where like the weapons have like individual stats and stuff like that. So I still don't like the rabbits really, but this is shaping up to be something that I'm excited for.
This is gonna be Jake's game of the year. I can feel it. I think he's gonna do like a full like 180 on this. Or
how we always peg Jake as one of the characters, like Jake is Ninjara, Jake is one of the Squid Boys. I feel like Jake is definitely overgrown shirt Luigi Rabbit.
I was just thinking that.
Wow.
100%.
That is 100% Jake. No, my quick take, I'm impressed. I think I'm impressed by the fact that there seems to be a level of thought and depth here that I didn't expect. To me, when I started hearing about Tutorio and all that, I was worried that this would be much more of a surface level, simple game. And it feels like, based on what we've seen, like you mentioned, Jake, with the customization, like we've seen with the 8 different characters, the weaponry, like it is a far more... I don't know, I think it feels like there's a lot of effort here. And I think that they are making something that they really want to succeed. And it's shaping up to be a unique one. And that's what I love. And we can kind of dive more into the specifics now. But I love the fact that going for more of an XCOM strategy RPG style eliminates any of the more direct comparisons with Paper Mario, and especially the recent Paper Marios that have used stickers and have kind of eschewed the RPG elements for more of just like a genre blender, I guess. Here, keeping it more strict to like, okay, look, there's tactical options, dashing, there's cover, destructible cover. You know, Laura Kate Dell reported like, oh, if you're half cover, you have a better percentage of defense and things like that. To me, it seems like, okay, smart of them to distance themselves from what Paper Mario has become lately.
Yeah, and going off like those tactical options, that makes it seem like it is going to be more like grid-based and like have some strategy where like you're using your teammates to like traverse the map, and there's like warp pipes and stuff. So in that front, I think it's not going to be like a super hardcore game where it like has like, you know, super in-depth character customization and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be in the middle sort of the path, not super simplistic where you just like push buttons and watch the animations happen, and not super really overly complex. So it'll be interesting to get hands-on with it and see like where it fits exactly in like the field of RPGs. And I think it's also interesting that in these slides, if they're true, like the genre, it doesn't call it an RPG at all. It says it's a crazy combat adventure.
I just want to give myself a little pat on the back because on a video that we have recorded that hasn't gone up yet, but we recorded prior to all of this information coming out. I did say that, like, I had a feeling that this wasn't going to be like as like kiddie as everybody thought. I had a feeling that it was going to be like a little bit more hardcore, and now we find out that there is this like customization and there is like some sass like in the game. Like Yoshi just looks so angry. Like they call him the explosive head. Like, I don't know what Yoshi's so angry about, but he seems angry. There's definitely an attitude here. You see the Princess Peach rabbit just posting a selfie there. Like,
I seriously hate the Princess Peach rabbit.
I like that. You know, we see the customization screen, and there's a couple bars of different stats. There's going to be stats in the weaponry. You see the Explorer screen, and those environments look really good. We haven't seen straight gameplay, but I like that this is running on the Snowdrop engine, and I think it's important to point out because that game is responsible for The Division, South Park: The Fractured But Whole, their later Avatar game, and also Mario plus Rabbids. So it's using a really, what I feel is a nice engine, and based on these little shots we're getting in the slides, it looks like really nice. And I think from multiple standpoints, it's got Mario, it's got a really nice box art, and if it has that good look and all that vibrancy, I feel like this could be a very powerful seller for Switch, which is super beneficial because then Ubisoft will only be encouraged to support the system more, and other third parties might be interested in hooking up with Nintendo, whether it's a direct crossover or not, just at least making stuff for the Switch.
And I think it's very interesting, the exploration half of this, or 35% is what they say it is. But in, like, in my head, I can kind of imagine what the turn-based combat's going to be like. Okay, there's like grids and there's cover, and you can jump off your teammates to get over things and things like that. I can kind of construct that in my head. But this exploration thing, based on the screenshot that they give here, it looks like you're on a path and like collecting coins along the way. And it says you don't have direct control of the characters. You just control Tutorio, who's like a flying saucer rabbit technology thing. So, but it does say that there's secret zones and puzzles and Easter eggs within the world. But to me, it looks like you're on like a direct path that you're just, moving around through, and not really, doesn't seem like there's a lot of exploration if you're just on a set path. So I'm interested to see how that is developed and how like the overworld is developed, because in my head, again, I can kind of understand the combat aspect of it, but how do they develop the overworld and traversing around to get from battle to battle and fill those gaps, and how does that all work out?
My guess would be it's either one of two things. One, kind of like how you said, like more path-based, and then you come upon, a puzzle area, you come upon a battle area, or this screenshot just looks very, tight because they wanted it for the slide, and in fact, you are going to be able to walk into the grass, you are going to be able to explore those weird giant plants, and when they say, full of Easter eggs and secret zones, at some level, I feel like you have to be able to move around a la the Mario and Luigi games. Now, you don't have direct control of the heroes, but it does look like you're just moving the party around. So
yeah, which I'm okay with.
Unless it's like very basic, like, go over here and tap on the touchscreen to collect the coins, I feel like we will have good exploration, kind of like Mario and Luigi, where there are some in-world puzzles. It looks like they want to kind of fill it in with secret zones. It's interesting to me that they've suggested a 20-hour story mode length, because I feel like that's pretty big. I feel like if it was going to be a very like super kiddie or super easy RPG, maybe you'd be going for more of a 6 to 8 hour time. But with 20 hours, I have to imagine that this is a pretty fully featured, both sides, the exploration portion and the turn-based combat. And I think it is going to be interesting, like we talked about, where does it fit in? Where does it slot in terms of like difficult, easy? I think they can find a nice middle ground. I just hope that it does have enough challenge so the battles don't just become like, okay, mash A, mash A, mash A.
I wanted to touch on something in the Best of Two Worlds slide here. It says Twisted Mario's world full of Easter eggs. So and who's Twisted Mario? Is that like a new character?
No, I think it's just saying that the Mario Mushroom Kingdom is going to be twisted by the rabbit.
No, like the way that it's written there, and I don't know if it's a typo. These are like leaked slides.
Yeah,
so they might not be final, but like, okay, tell me if I'm reading too much into it again. But look, it says best of two worlds. Maybe you are both in the Mushroom Kingdom and the Rabbids Kingdom, and in one of them you're exploring, the other one is more like combat based. So that's where my mind went with it. That we're going to be in both kingdoms. One is more like exploration based. The other one is again more combat based. But Twisted Mario sounds like it's a character, at least the way that it's written here.
No,
And
I think Twisted Mario's world is more like it's twisted. The two worlds like get like twisted and combined in like a feature like that. I think you're gonna be.
So then why is it an apostrophe S?
Well, like, Gabe, why does it say turtle shelves?
It's
Mario's
Mario's
what the heck is a turtle
world.
shelf? There's some things that I'm
It's
questioning.
Mario's. Yeah, I think this is just a product of Ubisoft Paris and Ubisoft Milan making these slides. I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, again, they do. Yeah, turtle shelves, and there's some interesting grammatical errors. But
I did want to say though, like the link is in the description if you guys want to see this NeoGaf thread, so you guys can check that out. Like there's so many details, and there's a lot of like interesting comments that people are leaving. Just seeing the reception is interesting in itself. So check that out.
Well, and I hope that they do. Even if it is just in one combined kingdom, which is what I think it will be, I hope they do find enough variety, and it makes me excited that they do have the characters and specifically say like, okay, they're going to have unique play styles, and I'm hoping that you will be able to pick and sort of mix and match your combined team and your upgrades to sort of fit your play style. You know, they do mention warp pipes and team jumps and destructible cover, and so do you go for a more defensive team? Do you go for a more offensive team? Unfortunately, the one image we don't get, like I said, is of the gameplay, which would be, or of the combat, I guess, which would be super interesting. But they are introducing co-op to it. How do you feel about a co-op tactical RPG?
That would be so great. I already need to start looking for a co-op partner for this.
Is it gonna like? But is it gonna offer anything, or is it just like, okay, you get to pick one character move, then I pick one character move, then you pick one character move, then I pick one character move? Like, I don't think it. In my head, at least, it doesn't seem like it'd be adding anything except that like you just each get to pick to move, taking turns moving characters.
Here's the way it works in my head. Right, there's gonna be puzzles. So if you're playing solo, then let's say Mario has to go stand on a switch while someone else has to go stand on another switch. So you would like individually like control both. First you would move Mario, then you would move the other one. But if you're playing co-op, then you can like both like, you know, do your own thing, if that makes sense.
But the multiplayer co-op is specifically in the turn-based combat. It's not even in the exploration area. So clearly they like are focusing on the combat.
Wait, how do we know that? Do we know that?
Yeah, it's in the turn-based comment column when it's in the best of two worlds slides.
So you're saying it's only co-op?
No, I'm not saying it's only. I'm saying the focus clearly is that they want the turn-based combat to be co-op.
So could it be that, like, let's say you control Mario and I control like Rabbids Mario? Could that be it?
Yeah, but I think what I'm saying is like it.
Well, again, I'm sorry, but to be clear, there is no direct control of characters. I want to be clear. We do know that. I know that. It's just that.
I fully believe, just to interject here, that the multiplayer comes in the battles and not in the exploration. I don't think it's like, oh, split the team up and two of you get to run around.
Well, yeah,
I think tutorial is your control.
You can't even.
And turn-based combat allows almost like a Tales type game where you can have two people playing if possible.
Right. I mean, it says that you can't control characters in the overworld and you're just controlling tutorial. So that's one character. But what I'm saying is it doesn't seem like it offers anything to it because it's turn-based. So like it's either you control all of them in sequence or you and a friend control like them alternating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it seems more like it's like if you have like a little brother wants to play or like your friends want to like play. Like, it doesn't seem like it just is offering anything more. But it is interesting that, going back to what you said about like customizing your party, how the screenshot of the exploration overworld has 3 characters in it. So you would think that like a party would either be all 8 or like 4 or something like that. So that makes me think or wonder, like, do you build your team up? Like, you start with just 1 and then you get 2, 3, 4. And then once you get to, is it then parties of 4? And then once you get to all 8, like, you can customize them in and out. It's just interesting that like the slide they show isn't like a typical like even number of a party, unless it is 3 characters.
Well, the 3 is a very traditional number for party members in RPGs. Like, very, very traditional.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's like a turn-based grid though, and we only have 3 characters, that doesn't make a lot.
This is a 4-character thing, right? Or we're going based on 3 on the image there.
Yeah, well, the one image that shows the path.
Yeah,
and
I do wonder, like, is this the type of game where, hey, you're gonna have all 8 options in the beginning, or do you start off with, say, like, because to me this looks like Mario and then Peach Rabbit and Luigi Rabbit.
Yeah, that's what
so
it is.
Maybe it's a thing where Mario starts off in this crossover and has to eventually collect the rest of the characters. So
yeah.
Who knows? It's very hard to speculate on that. How do you feel about the fact that Nintendo has kind of let Ubisoft get a little crazy with like gun arms and, Luigi with this sniper poltergeist and Yoshi getting super pissed off, yo-yo weaponry.
Yeah, and
Just
this
like,
was never supposed to be public, but just like the phrasing, the badass princess type thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing where it says, you know, a distressed princess, so cliche. You know, we're not doing that. A conservative universe, no more. So maybe like Nintendo gave them like so much leeway that Ubisoft is like, okay, we're gonna like do some like, you know, really weird things that haven't been done before. Like even just seeing like those terms that I've just used, like in a game where Mario and Peach are in it, like it's jarring a little bit, but I mean I'm sure we'll get used to it.
Yeah, the verbiage is more weird to me. I'm okay with like the guns and whatever because they theme them so well in the Mario universe.
I think a point you made, Jake, when you were covering the detail, like what other characters or what all else might be in there? Are we you know putting two and two together incorrectly, thinking that isn't a Donkey Kong rabbit in the background, or how strict do they stick?
That definitely looks like it could be a Donkey Kong rabbit with the necktie, the red necktie. But there's also, I mean, Yoshi's using a gun that has a banana as the back end of it.
Yeah,
so
true.
And there is Bowser Jr. Like the like I said, his bandana and stuff like that. So there definitely seems to be at least some crossover. Maybe you don't see Donkey Kong in the game, but at least some of the Mushroom Kingdom type characters of Bowser type characters and Donkey Kong type characters in it, which I'm super excited about because as much as I'm like always against like for Mario Kart to become like Nintendo Kart and stuff like that, these things are like specific themes, like a rabbit based off of Donkey Kong or a gun based on Donkey Kong or like Luigi with his poltergeist. I think those things are really cool. So I'm excited to see all of the different kind of loot that you can get in this game.
I think it'll be really interesting. I feel like as bad as it is that this leaked, I like that it's proved itself as like, okay, this is definitely one to watch out for. And timeline wise, you know, they lose out on having the surprise announcement, but they are going for a very fast cycle and a very quick launch. And I think that's huge, right? Giving the Switch another exclusive game and one that's interesting and one that fills in another genre is super important. And placing it in August, you're going to hit with ARMS, E3, Splatoon 2, and then this. And, you know, that's not to say anything of Fire Emblem Warriors, Xenoblade 2, or Super Mario Odyssey. I feel like this does a lot for the Switch lineup. And even though it's just one game, like it's great to know that a new title and a very fresh concept is being introduced immediately for the system.
I've said this before, but then my worry becomes that this is the only other like surprise we were going to get at E3, and now we're not getting it. Like, I mean, we're still getting it. It's just not a surprise anymore. So,
I mean, I think the gameplay itself will be a good enough surprise for me.
Sure, that's very true. Zach, something you said that I kind of wanted to talk about for a second here is you said that you thought it was going to be in one kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you're drawing that conclusion from. Maybe you're right. I'm not like saying you're not. But to me, that just the term Kingdom Battle, like, I don't know. I think we're gonna see a little bit of both.
To me, it just seems like the kind of the theming of the pictures and everything. It seems like the Rabbids somehow spilled into the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's sort of like that twisted up thing where some elements of the Rabbids got like thrown into the Mushroom Kingdom, and you'll see some of that elements. But I don't think they're gonna like have like a teleporter that's gonna swing you between both worlds. I think there's gonna be like they say there's 4 world environments, but I think they're all gonna be within the Mushroom Kingdom with Rabbids elements thrown into them.
Yeah, what do we expect about that? Just like this more traditional zone, an ice zone, a sand zone, just kind of covering the main Mario
it'd be super
elements.
cool. I don't know if there's any possibility of this, but it'd be super cool if it was like, okay, the first one's like strictly like Mushroom Kingdom, Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach. Then like next one you go like as like the jungle and has like Donkey Kong stuff, and then like the next one has like Bowser themed stuff, and then one more 4th world. I think that would be super cool.
I think there's going to be more variety than we think. Yeah, because 4 world environments doesn't sound like a lot, but for a 20-hour like adventure, there's no way that we're going to be looking at like the same looking stuff over and over and over. So I still think they throw in a good amount of variety. Yeah, there's not going to be like a ton of bosses, but I think we get some like cool, like maybe not even like mini bosses, because they also address that, but mini bosses that are like different or something. I don't know. I feel like variety is something that they're going to need to address.
Yeah,
so
because they say 7 character or enemy archetypes and 1 boss per area, so it's like 7 repeating character types and then 1 boss per area is 4, so that's like 11 different types.
But
of
with
characters.
archetype, I mean, you can't have variety, so you
True.
could have. I mean, we don't even know what the enemies are. I think that'll be interesting to be revealed, but. let's just make this up. Say they're robots, right? Okay, so you have sort of the sniper robots, but I feel like
they could be different. Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
I feel like the archetype just means, okay, these are the long range guys, or these are the berserker, explode in your face guys. I hope that it's not just like 7 enemies, because it is interesting that they reveal 8 playable characters right off the bat, and they're all there, right? You see them all up front. Now, granted, this is internal, slides and images, but the key art shows all 8. So it's strange to me that they're not holding any of that back as sort of a surprise. But I guess they just want to leverage, hey, you have Mario characters here that are going to be cool. Any chance we get a Rayman appearance? Or you guys think that this is strictly...
No, I think it's just Rabbids.
Yeah.
What about Tutorial? I wanted to touch on that briefly. First of all, he almost looks like the Ubisoft logo in some weird way. I feel like he's just like...
It reminds me
birds.
of the top half of Eve from WALL-E with bunny ears.
Or like an upside-down Eve with 2 little feet. But yeah, what do you think about the reasoning for controlling him versus the characters? Like, I guess it ultimately doesn't matter because you're either moving him or moving the characters, but can you think of a gameplay reason why they would do this?
I guess just
Not
to
really.
keep them... So you don't like... You just have a consistent, I guess, cursor almost, and then have your party follow behind as opposed to, like, worry about swapping characters out or stuff like that. And maybe he's in the battle, and it's like he's like kind of like I said, like the cursor that like selects different things or can like support.
Yeah,
aid
what
or
if he just
something.
acts like a mouse button, like a mouse cursor? Like that's maybe how I'm thinking of it. Like he's just a mouse,
And he
maybe,
might like be like the sort of like the narrator, like like the Rabbids fell into the Mushroom Kingdom world, and like it was like his fault, and like so he's like kind of like being like the mediator between the 2 worlds or something like that.
Do you think it could be a weird point-and-click control scheme, or are you fully expecting to move Tutorial and they just follow Tutorial?
Yeah, I think they follow tutorial maybe, because
Yeah,
I
I
mean
don't
seriously,
think-
like you
you're talking
said
about-
this.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say really quickly that Zach said this earlier, but it seems like a younger person's version of XCOM, and that's what it's sounding like to us, I think, and to a lot of people. So I can see how maybe they just follow tutorial around or something.
Yeah, I definitely think that's what it is. I don't think it's point and click in the exploration areas or like the overworld. I think it's you move tutorial around and they just kind of follow behind, like ducklings.
So they follow him, but then in combat, you are going to be moving them individually. So I just wonder what the choice there. Maybe it's semantics, and they're just writing it because it makes sense to them in their overall game design. But like to me, I don't really understand. I'm curious to know like what is the point of tutorial. Although they have. Even if you think back to the Mario and Luigi RPG games, they usually had like a helper character that was like, oh no, this has gone on, or oh, I'm from this other kingdom, and kind of guiding them.
That darn Toad.
Not Toad, Gabe. But you never controlled them. They were just kind of like in Mario's pocket or in his, his mind or whatever. So it's still slightly strange to me. That really is the only thing that stands out as like my fear of like, is this a little gonna be basic? But when they do say collectible weapons, upgradable weapons, variety of combat objectives, so there may be ones sort of like XCOM where it's not like
Side quests.
Yeah, kill this guy or survive this or things like that.
What is like Breath of the Wild? It's like huge open. There's all these side quests.
Probably not that crazy, but destructible cover is something that I don't think you'd ever expect from a Rabbids RPG. So even though I feel like there still is this like collective groan of like why'd it have to be Rabbids? Maybe the Rabbids just had to be the vehicle that was used
like
in
a
order to
necessary
make this
evil.
game happen. Yeah. Like, would we have gotten this game straight up from Nintendo? I don't know. But Ubisoft wanted to make it possible. And so we kind of like sacrifice Mario and his friends to deal with the Rabbids for 20 hours in order to get what could be a really cool and unique game. I love the fact that it doesn't feel like any previous entry.
Here's what it feels like in my gut, and now I understand it a little bit better. It feels like when they unveiled and we first saw Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, I was like, what the heck is this? Why is there plants uprooting themselves and running around and shooting each other in this like Call of Duty type scheme? And that's kind of what I get from this. Like, what the heck is Mario doing? Hiding behind cover, shooting an arm cannon like Mega Man. But
Dude,
if it's
that is
anything like
such a
Garden
perfect
Warfare,
comparison.
that was an incredible success, and I absolutely loved that game. So if that's any indicator
Yeah.
of how my gut feels right now, I'm all for it.
Yeah, very apt. That's a great comparison, Jake. You deserve a brownie for that.
I'm super excited just to see the animation of Mario taking cover and then reaching over cover with his bullet bill arm and like blasting someone.
Yeah,
Wait, is he still just smiling the whole time? I don't know.
I do love how Yoshi. I mean, maybe Jake is more like
I'm Yoshi. I'm definitely Yoshi.
you're
'Cause he's
angry.
just
Angry.
yeah.
Who am I?
You have to be Rabbids Peach. I'm sorry.
Wow, thanks.
I've seen you take a selfie like that.
Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate it so much. Okay, so wrapping this up here, final thoughts. I mean, August or September, 2-player local co-op, 20-hour campaign, phenomenal box art. I feel like this box art is going to fly off the shelves. It is the ideal attractor for a younger audience, and if it can back it up with gameplay that appeals to an older audience as well, I feel like this could be like a really successful third-party venture, and I'm all for that.
Yeah, man. Fingers crossed. Like I said, I'm in. I mean, I have no doubts about this game. I have complete faith. Ubisoft has stepped it up in a lot of ways as of late, just as a company and a developer. So no hesitation.
I think it's interesting that it's almost like I'm just going back to the main picture and seeing Luigi do this vault over a brick, holding his poltergeist sniper rifle. And we were talking about Nintendo doing horror games and getting the more mature type themes, and this isn't a horror game obviously, but it's sort of a step in that direction where it's you have
the
Luigi,
horror of Rabbids.
Yeah, you have you have Luigi holding a gun, jumping over cover, about to do battle, and I think that's just very interesting that we've been talking about this, and this kind of is a step in that direction almost.
Well, and the good news about this is that it doesn't step on the toes of people's hope and dream for a Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake or a return to form for Paper Mario. It clearly exists in its own. And I saw someone on NeoGAF make an interesting point, and they're like, I hope this game is successful, if for no other reason than to show the Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi team that they need to step their game up. So I think this is good all around. Very curious to play it at E3. I'm assuming that'll be happening in just a couple of weeks, and obviously we'll be back with a whole lot of thoughts there. Let us know your take on Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle down in the comments below. I think in general, we are pretty pumped about it. So hopefully some of you feel the same way. Either way, though, let us know your take. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from MRKB and the rest of the Switch lineup. Hit that notification bell if you want to be the first to know when Mario and his freaking bullet bill arm are ready for action. Until then, though, for myself, Jake Gabe, thanks so much for watching. Switch Force out.